All right, well, I do have a request up top. You ever seen, like, the news on TV?
You talking to me or the listener?
You.
Yes.
So you've seen that when a reporter's talking to somebody, they stick the mic under their face, ask a question, and then move the mic over to the other person to answer?
Yep.
That's a technique you're going to need to bring into this podcast more.
I'm trying. I think the problem is we talk over each other occasionally.
That's not the problem. The problem is you just forget to point it at me when I'm talking sometimes. Like, don't start this podcast with bullshit.
It's a bit bullshit.
All right, I'm sorry to start with a criticism.
Yeah.
I just think
I was always told,
if we're going to be Australia's premier car-based sport tangential podcast, people need to be able to hear me over the engine noise at least.
I was always told that if you're going to give someone a criticism, start with a compliment.
Okay.
It's too late, man.
You've certainly not shaved for a few days.
Thank you. What do you know about sports, Stu?
Before we talk about sport...
Yes, good. Good.
You were going to try and tell me something about Jackie Chan earlier. I'd like to hear more about...
Well, it was more just...
See, this is where you pointed at me, because I'm still talking. I'd like to hear more about that, thank you, Monty.
Well, it was more just amusing I had. That it wasn't something I wanted to tell you, wasn't it? It just, at that time, it popped into my head. I said Jackie Chan doesn't like his children.
Yeah, so there's a story in that, though, because it's just a non sequitur that you don't normally just drop into a conversation. Oh, by the way, Jackie Chan doesn't like his children. What? Tell me more about it.
Well, to be fair, you don't need to know more. That's enough to know. I heard he doesn't like his kids. I think he's not leaving them any money, specifically the boy child. I believe he was...
Does he have a name?
If he does, I don't know it.
All right.
Jackie Jr.?
Okay.
I think he was... Jeju, yeah. I think he was caught with weed in Hong Kong once.
Fuck!
Yeah, and following that, Jackie said, I'm disowning you. You know, Jackie Chan's from Canberra?
Weed?
Yeah, well, Hong Kong weed.
Oh, Hong Kong weed.
Not Hong Kong weed, but Hong Kong, weed.
Right.
Because Hong Kong, you know, you get the... How is Hong Kong going? Are they still... Well, like, are they still protesting and stuff?
That was a mid-sentence tangent. Well done. Look, yeah, I don't think they're suddenly happy. Let's put it that way.
Have Hong Kong, here we can take this to sport, have Hong Kong ever had their own sporting teams?
Yeah, I believe so.
Have you ever been to Hong Kong? I've been to Hong Kong.
No.
I don't know where you'd play sport on that island. It's quite small.
Bloody good question.
I went to a zoo there. It was the worst zoo I've ever been to.
So they've got room for a zoo, but not playing fields.
It appears, it was a weird zoo. It was a mountainous zoo, and it appeared as if...
Was it a vertical zoo, was it?
Semi. It was on the top of a mountain. It appeared as if they had...
Man, do you need to be slapped on the back?
No, it appeared as if they had misnamed some of the big cats.
Oh, so a panther was just like a cougar or something.
Yeah. Well, it said panther, and it was clearly a fat tiger in a very small cage, and that was upsetting.
All right. Well, but should the girth of the tiger be mentioned in the labelling?
Instead of panther, it should say fat tiger. Yeah, probably. No, I liked Hong Kong, man. It was cool. First 12 hours I was there, I didn't set foot on the ground.
Okay. Can I just... Taking it back to Jackie Chan just for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
There's two questions. Number one, is that the end of the story? His son got busted for weed, so Jackie doesn't like him.
Yes. And
you said children, plural, which means has one child got into trouble and he decided that the rest of them are cut off? What are you talking about?
Look, that might have been hyperbolic.
Right.
But I remember seeing his press conference about how he disowned his son, and I thought, well, if that's how he feels about that kid, he won't like any of his kids.
All right. And you said he's from Canberra. What do you mean? Was he born there? Was he spend a small part of his childhood there? What are you talking about?
His mum and dad have a restaurant in Canberra. Chinese restaurant.
So born and raised?
I think he moved to Hong Kong.
Yeah, when though?
When he was young, but he definitely spent... I don't know, but he spent some of his time in Canberra.
Okay. So what would that be? 1970s Canberra?
I think he's older than you think he is.
The 60s Canberra. So he's
late 60s Canberra.
So he's Harold Holt era Canberra.
Yeah, probably Harold Holt era Canberra. Yeah. When did they build Canberra? It wasn't much before that, was it? 30s? Yeah, I want to say 30s.
Yeah, I want to say 30s as well.
Walter Burley Griffin.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
My mate told me an interesting fact about Walter Burley Griffin. You know that his wife designed a lot of the stuff for him, pretty much all of it, but because she was a woman, she had to give the designs to her husband because no one would take her seriously if she was a woman architect / town planner.
Yeah, like last week, she also probably wasn't allowed to use the pointy end of the pool mace.
Yeah. Can you imagine how fucked off you'd be if you'd done all these great designs and then your husband's getting patted on the back for them all the time?
Yeah, that would not be good, and our world hasn't been good like that. You know who else? Has
Jackie said much about his Canberra childhood?
I think occasionally. Do you remember he made that bad Australian movie in, I want to say, the late 90s? I remember him sliding down a glass building in Melbourne. He was on a tram. He fought someone on a tram.
Got a title for that?
No, but I can look it up soon. Not now, though, because the microphone is my phone. You know who else doesn't like their kids, but likes their kids more than Jackie Chan? But no, this is a recent one. This is today. No, we talked about that. We're not to mention Fritzl. Right. Bill Gates.
So he doesn't like his children?
They're not inheriting his billions. They've been assigned 10 million each. That's it.
Right. I wonder if that'll change with the news today that the divorce is going ahead.
Well, that's why I heard this.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. This is new information.
Yeah, it's new to me. No, not something I've been sitting on. Yeah. No, the Jackie Chan one happened, I want to say, a decade ago.
All right.
He might have patched it up with his son by now.
What do you know about Hong Kong weed?
I know about Hong Kong, not anymore, but research chemicals were available pretty freely.
Wow.
Yeah, some far out research chemicals, man. But I don't know much about Hong Kong weed. I assume it would be expensive. It's a small, quite, I don't know how much weed they'd have there.
Well, there's not much room to grow it, so they have to do all their importing. Unless they, in that vertical zoo, they dedicate a level to growing weed, maybe. Yeah,
repurpose the fat tiger cage.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Bill Gates, 10 million for each kid. What do you think there?
Well, I suppose you'd be pissed off if maybe they've just gone their whole lives not knowing the state of the dad's bank account, the parents' bank account.
Gee, one of them's 25, the other one's 21, and the other own's 19. Yeah. You think they don't know how much money Bill Gates has?
Could be thickos.
Could be thickos.
But if they don't know, then...
Do you reckon he's just vaccinated them up to thick owners?
If they don't know who he is, because kids aren't my kids aren't that interested in what I do for work. Maybe they're just not interested in what he does for work and have no idea what he does and his success. So that might be a bloody boon to them if they don't know that we've got 10 million. Holy shit, where'd that come from?
Do you reckon they're strict Apple users?
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Maybe that's why they're only getting 10 million.
The internet works quick and is undefeated. There was a meme I saw just before we left today that was Bill Gates' Tinder profile, and it said, "I'll give you an exclusive third dose." I think that's funny. Why does he want to vaccinate us all? Is that weird?
Why does he want to?
Yeah. He's a private man.
Well, because he's a philanthropist. You keep putting it in front of your mouth and not saying anything.
Well, I'm getting ready to say something, but then I think you might have something to say.
Right. The cue is when sound stops coming out of me.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I don't know about Bill Gates, man. I don't know about him.
Cue the opening theme music, I guess.
All right. Well, let's move a bit closer to home and sport again. I was happy to see the Tigers get a win this weekend.
Oh, I don't understand why you're talking about this. The Tigers won, did they?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a bloody great game. Good on them.
Yeah, I think we texted that evening. I don't know if it was a great game, but we won.
Well, it was great in that Tigers tried hard and tackled. And that's really the basics of what you'd expect from a NRL side.
Yeah, which weirdly in the first half there were some basics we weren't doing.
Yeah, but you told me about the ferocity of Madge's spray pre-game. Imagine what that halftime spray would have been.
Do you think it? Yeah. But, yeah, okay, so let's move on to this. I think we were talking about this morning, but so there's been a lot of talk recently on the shows I've been watching, like Big League. Is that the name of the show? Or is that the magazine?
That was a magazine.
Yeah. What, NRL Talk, maybe? I don't know. The stuff on KO.
On KO? Well, that's Fox stuff, so you're talking about NRL 360 and things like that.
That's it, that's the one. They've been talking about how a lot of coaches are running thin on sprays. Like, you've only got so many.
You've got a finite number of sprays before they stop having an effect.
Yeah, because after the third week in a row where you're getting a spray, you're like, well, fuck.
Well, you need to build up some, spray credits in between sprays.
Do you think you build up a spray credit by being nice?
Yeah.
Like you trick them into a false sense of security?
Yeah.
Bring them chocolates one week. Madge brings them chocolates.
Or silent treatment. The reverse of a spray.
So do you reckon you can silent treatment your way to having a workable spray again? I don't think so. I think the niceness.
I do, because everyone would be sitting there every pre-match and every halftime for 4 weeks in a row. You just sit there with your arms crossed looking at everybody and not saying anything. Imagine the anticipation for when you decide, like, you've got enough spray credits to go again.
Well, do you reckon sometime in those 4 silent weeks of coaching, the general manager says, hey, what are we paying you for?
No, they understand psychology. That's fine.
I reckon any longer than 4 weeks. And
are you saying
your spray credits are never coming back?
If you're a player, you're on the team bus, you turn up to the ground, go past the coach. Hey, coach, he just looks at you. Everyone's changed, ready, warmed up. The coach comes in, pulls up a seat, sits down, folds arms, and just looks around the room. And there's just silence for 10 minutes as he just kind of goes from player to player, looking at him. And then like the trainer comes in and goes, all right, well, it's time to run out. And everyone gets up and walks out, and he's still just eyeballing people. And that happens for 4 weeks in a row. You're saying that you wouldn't be, as a player, be on the edge of your seat?
Well, I've got a important question with that. Is this my first interaction with this coach? Like, is he a new coach?
No.
Because then I'd be weirded out.
No. Only if you just joined the club this year, because this is a new tactic this year that he should be doing, right? So this year, do you reckon he started with sprays and then went, I need spray credits?
Do you reckon there's another way to do it, which is like the breakdown and pleading? like just bursting into tears and being like, you gotta do better, guys. I can't live like this. Like, do you think that'd work as a coach? I don't know if that'd work.
And then what? His doctor comes in and says, look, here's some of the stuff we've talked about lately, and here's what I'm going to prescribe. You guys, no one wants to be medicated. The best thing to do is prevention, guys, Yeah,
or he sets it up, his theory breakdown, with some of the assistant coaches that come in and protect him and say, you guys got to do better. You can't be treating him like this.
Yeah, look, I think so. Outside of, because, something that we've discussed before is, like, you can't just go spray after spray after spray after spray, because
unless
you reach a point where, like, you have to take a step above screaming at someone.
Yeah. What you're talking about, the spray shendo. So yeah. And what I assume where you're going is in about week 6, it culminates with you killing a player.
Well, yeah. So yeah.
Getting violent.
Like screaming. What's the next step above screaming in someone's face? Offing someone. right?
Well,
Or
maybe there's some...
punching,
yeah.
right, some violence in between. But again...
Breaking something? That happens. I've seen Ricky Stewart throw a chair around.
But that happens, like, doors get busted and stuff like that.
It would be amazing to see a coach kill a player. In, like, a half-time, your camera's in the dressing room.
Well, I've been thinking about that. So yeah, if we decide that the next level is, like, to prove that, like, a coach is serious, because the players can sit around and go, oh, I'll just wait till he stops yelling. We're sick of it. Like, this same shit every week kind of thing, you know what I mean? But just as you think, like, everyone's going, yeah, is it game time yet? And then a new player comes in, everyone, this is Roy. This is Roy Smith. He's just transferred here from Group 10, right?
See, I see it a little differently. I think the spraying he's just really working up an anger, and then just picks a already there player and chokes him to death.
You can't pick one of your top 25 because...
Well, then you're making a point. You need to make a point. You can't just offer a patsy.
But they don't know he's a patsy. They think he's a new player you brought in to jazz up the team.
What about someone who's got kind of transfer speculation around him?
Right. So there's a rumour coming. Adam Reynolds is coming.
Exactly, Adam Reynolds. Yeah.
But then you buy Adam Reynolds just to kill him in front of everybody.
No, you kill him at South before he leaves.
But that doesn't prove anything to West Coast players. That's just a weird mystery that's happened.
No, I was talking about to prove it to the South, but they're doing pretty well.
Don't worry about proving it to South. We're worried about proving it to Tigers players
that brings up
who are sick of sprays from match.
Well, what about this? That brings up another point. Is it worth killing someone when you're doing well? Like, just to keep you on your toes?
Oh, complacency.
Yeah. You guys are doing well, but this could happen and choke out a player.
Just as you have to build up spray credits, I think you've only got like a couple of slaughters before.
I think there's a step before the slaughter in which you batter someone or choke them half to death and then are dragged out by assistant coaches.
Yeah. There's also an argument about the players who are kind of just sacrifice specialists, whether they have to fall under the salary cap or not.
Now, do you expect, when you say sacrifice specialist, are you saying that perhaps they fake their own death?
No.
Is it a put on for the other players?
No.
Because they'd be onto it after all, after the same guy keeps coming back.
Exactly the same way that players are coached into their positions. Certain players are just coached to be ready to be on the sacrifice table in the change room.
Wow. Now, so you're seeing it as some kind of ceremonial
but
style.
You don't tell them.
So everyone come in, oh, coach, why is there a pentagram on the floor? Why is there a lot of candles around? Why are we wearing these robes?
I don't think
kind of vibe?
I don't think you have to make it like religious or satanic or anything. It's just a table and a knife. Because you're not trying to prove a kind of spiritual point. You're just proving a seriousness point. Right?
So more medical.
No, not medical. Just I've run out of spray currency. My anger isn't reaching you. Now I've got to do something else to reach you.
So, what we're going for there is the players to play better out of fear.
Yeah, or
to be fired up and bloodlusting after seeing.
No.
Do they get involved with the killing?
It's just a mental refresh, a mental reset of we're serious here. Rather than just listen to old Madge yelling again. He's going to cry in a minute.
Yeah. Well, this week he's killed someone. He must be serious. Yeah. Okay. I'd love to see that happen for the Tigers.
Okay.
And there's I wouldn't have to get a specialist, and you could kill a couple of our players. I don't think it'd change much.
All right, so who's on the table then? Cheekham?
Yeah, Cheekham.
We probably shouldn't talk about who should be killed.
No. Do you think you could you get BJ to kill someone?
On the field?
Well, no, in the dressing room.
Well, but why him? Just because he's...
Because he looks like he's ready to kill someone, yeah.
I don't think you're getting the full benefit of the coach being serious if anyone but him does it.
Yeah. Yeah, unless, he'd have to make it clear that BJ was doing his bidding. And I don't know how you'd get that across.
Well, then, I don't know. Then maybe the satanic stuff comes into it, because then you'd have to do
Hypnotise BJ.
Pretend there's a ritual going on where you've hypnotised BJ and he's under your control.
See, that's... Yeah, okay. But then wouldn't you use the hypnotism powers to just hypnotise him into playing better?
Well, you could. I think it's just simpler to kill the bloke yourself. I don't know that you need to get the maddest player on your team to do it for you.
Hey, on an upsetting note, I saw that NRL 360... Or no. What's the one with Matty Johns?
Isn't it just the Matty Johns show?
Yeah, I think that's it. And they had 2-0. To'o, and the other guy from that
team. There's many other guys.
No, but the other guy, he's a mate. Like, they work together out there on the wing.
Crichton? Lay? Jeremy Luau?
Yeah, I think it might be Jeremy Luau. Well, apparently they came up together. They played together, and they're both like real like Hillsong singers.
Yeah, they've sung on the Channel 9 before in a post-game.
That's what I'm talking about, those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they were doing some boy band stuff, Backstreet Boy stuff or something.
Yeah, I could imagine
Boys to Men.
There you go, that's good. I can get behind that. I don't think we have any of that on the Tigers.
Oh, no good singers?
No good singers.
Well, it's something that could be coached. I mean, you could get some sessions going. Like, you have voice singing coaches out there.
But would this then spark another match killing when no one's singing very well? He'd have to spray you each week and lead to a killing.
In a credit building phase or a payoff phase. But, maybe Madge could be soothed into silence by...
Through blood.
In the steel shoe up.
Yeah, okay. Now, okay, back a bit seriously. So Madge sprayed this week, got a result. What's the go next week? What's he supposed to do? Just back to normal?
Yeah.
Does he even have normal anymore?
Yeah, great question, because you can't spray straight away again.
No, and to spray after your spray worked would be... You kind of want to reward him.
Yeah, you want some positivity, surely.
But I don't think that's going to get us a win.
I don't know. Foot rubs? Does he just give all the players foot rubs before the game?
So now you're getting to the point of having a real, kind of like schizophrenic coach. Like a real kind of like, you don't know what to expect. Which is probably good.
But I think that's good.
Keep you on your toes.
That's my point I was making before.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there.
All right. Let me ask you if there's any other sports stuff going on. Give me an update on Super League.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to tell you about that.
What happens, so the Super League lasted 2 days. What's the fallout? What are the ramifications for these rebel clubs?
Well, how about this? This weekend, in the Premier League fixture, it was to be Manchester United playing against the Liverpool team.
Yeah.
And Manchester United had what started off as a protest for the Glazer family, who are an American family who own the team.
Yeah.
Which turned into a full-on Occupy Old Trafford. So they broke the doors down, got into the thing, wouldn't leave. The match had to be rescheduled, and they're angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, there appears to be no kind of current ramifications for what happened.
But you think there might be sort of long-term kind of punitive measures by fans towards clubs?
Lots of things have been bandied about by the leagues, but I don't think anything will happen. The stuff that will happen is fan-related.
Yeah, fan-led.
Yeah, fan-led. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but something should happen.
Okay.
In other sports news, the Swans won a corker on Saturday night. That was great.
Yeah, Swans, eh? They're just real delightful. I don't know what it's like for people who don't like Swans listening to this, because it's the only AFL we offer, really.
I love the Swans, but that being said, I don't watch heaps of the other AFL, but I do watch it. But yeah, I don't talk about it as much as I talk about the Tigers. But you will notice too, I talk very little about other rugby league teams. I
fill that gap.
Yeah, you fill that gap.
Yes, but I can't fill the AFL gap.
No.
I'm going to do something a bit interesting here now, and it's a first for this podcast. I'm going to pull this car over.
That's a worry. Ooh. Chose an interesting street.
Oh, I didn't actually know that this street was going to be so difficult to traverse. I'm going over this. There's a bridge here.
Holy crap, we're going over a bridge.
Yeah, we're on
We've
the other
taken
side.
it. Oh my,
Literally
where
on
are
the
we?
side of the tracks now.
Holy shit.
That's okay.
It's misty here too.
I'm going to...
Biodiversity stewardship site. Oh my god. Fucking hell. Keep going.
No.
Okay, go up here then.
Side street.
Fuck, this side street's heaps small.
Yeah, it's very small.
We're in the bush.
Alright, this wasn't planned. Hopefully you can tell that. But
It sounds that way.
I'm pulling over because we have a listener question and I want to read it off my phone. So, pulling over here, I'll read the question and then we'll keep moving and discuss it, right?
Okay.
So...
Is this one of the times where you want the mic near you?
Well, again, it's whether if you hear sound coming out of my voice, that's really the top indicator. Sound coming out of my voice,
Yeah,
sound
that was...
coming out of my mouth, right?
That's your voice.
All right. Now, we have had correspondence from a listener called Nathan Ellis, who I know from previous podcasts.
Nathan Ellis, it sounds familiar. Was he a wallaby?
No, you think... No, Nathan. There's a Tasmanian bowler called Nathan Ellis.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. Did he also play Union?
I doubt that.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Hi, gents. I've always been filthy about no Central Coast team in the NRL he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
One time, the old Rabbit Warren said they don't deserve a team because they didn't support the Bears. He was defending a second chance of a Gold Coast team after the failed Seagulls, and the Bears was never a Central Coast team, just a second Manly team. They also had Billy Moore, one of the Queensland's greatest motivational speechwriters. So there's that.
Was that a question?
No, I guess he'd like us to discuss Central Coast Bears
sure.
and why.
I'm in.
And he's tagged on a bit later saying, how long are we going to keep showing Broncos games on Friday when they're so bad? So that's a statement around the fact that...
That's a question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's address this one at a time. Let's start with the Broncos. Okay, I know why they do that. That's TV ratings, right? Are we going into this house?
No, I'm turning around.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's TV ratings. As bad as they are, the fucking Brisbane folk will still watch them go round. I don't want to watch them go round, but, you know, they get the Friday night spot. I hate it. We all hate it, but that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
That's why they give you 2 games on Friday. Although the earlier game is too early, right? Do you think it's too early?
For what? For viewers or for players? What are you talking about? Viewers?
For viewers, yeah. Players.
I reckon 6 o'clock. I suppose a lot of people knock off work early on Fridays if you're in particularly kind of your laboury, tradey jobs, I suppose.
Yeah, my thought would be, couldn't you push them both back? I mean, no one's really going to care if the Broncos game doesn't start till, 9:15.
But theoretically, you're at least attempting to get some kids interested in viewing the rugby league. You can't really do that if it's starting after their bedtime.
Well, they watch the first game.
Oh, and they can get fucked if they want to watch the second game?
Absolutely. You have to wait till you're older. And then you could do the commentary blue in the second game.
Oh, so Rabs
can swear.
He's acting like a right cunt right there.
Exactly. Now, the first point you had was about Rabs not liking the Sunny Coast team.
Well, just general disdain for the idea of Sunny Coast, with Rabs being part of the problem, I think.
Is Rabs a supporter of any team?
Oh.
Where is Rabs from?
Junee.
Okay, so maybe
Canberra, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. But why would you talk down the Central Coast Bears or a Central Coast team in general? Why? Okay, so I think I said this 1 or 2 eps ago. When they made the Hunter Mariners, why didn't they just make a Central Coast team? You would have dragged some Newcastle people into a Central Coast team anyway. You got all the Central Coast and, possibly some people in the northern end of Sydney.
I mean, look at the kind of catchment area of the St. George Dragons.
I will, go on.
Like, it's large, right? I mean, you pretty much encompass Wollongong with that, right?
Yeah.
And the south of Sydney, kind of. It's a weird...
Yeah, it's really bizarre because you've got
Yeah.
South Sydney and Wollongong, and then Cronulla as a big kind of blip in the middle of that.
Yeah,
catchment area.
yeah, it's weird. But you could do that. Surely you could have a Newcastle Central Coast kind of... Just call it the Central Coast team.
Yeah.
And sure, why wouldn't you amalgamate that with the Bears? The Bears were a great old franchise. I quite like their jerseys.
So I think the Central Coast was meant to be happy with the Northern Eagles, and the Central Coast weren't happy with the Northern Eagles. And the Northern Eagles failed and disbanded, and they punted Norths out of the comp. And now we're where we're at with the Central Coast. Central Coast people got jack of waiting for a rugby league team and all got behind the Mariners. And so the Mariners have a massive, energetic following on the coast now.
All this talk around of the idea of adding a second New Zealand team and then putting it to the weird 2-10 team kind of Sydney and outer Sydney kind of thing.
Yeah.
What about one of the reasons they kicked up a stink about Super League was because there was it wasn't merit based.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be good to have it back where we had two divisions? One was your kind of flag almost, but had the Blue Baggers, had North Sydney Bears, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the top 2 or 3 teams could go into the NRL, and the bottom 3 teams would drop out of the NRL for a year.
Yeah, but then what do they do in the year that they're out?
Play in the other thing. You have to win your way back in.
I suppose, but
You know
that's
what
I think that works in England, for example,
Yeah.
because the population's more than double ours.
It's true.
But I don't know that it'll work. But I think the best solution would be have 20 teams, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a second Brisbane team, second New Zealand team. You could have Central Coast Bears, or bring the Northern Bears back in, North Sydney Bears back in, whichever works best. Even have a Perth team. Get 20 there, right? And then the most fair way to run a competition is to just have everyone play each other once. So you have 19 rounds or
That's
whatever.
not fair.
It is fair.
No, it's not, because am I playing at your home ground or mine? And who decides that?
That's more fair.
It's fair to play everyone twice.
But then
We need 28 rounds.
But then, the current situation is play some teams twice, and maybe you get to play a dud team twice, and that's an advantage to your team.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Maybe you get to play some teams twice, and when you play them twice, it's only worth half the points.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And the one time you play a one team once, it's weighted as to which home ground you play it at.
All right, so imagine you're the Dragons, for example.
Okay.
You get stuck playing Melbourne twice or the Panthers twice, and
Okay.
by some miracle you beat them both times, and then find out they're only worth half points. Stiff shit to you. Is that it?
Well, yeah, you'd tell them beforehand, though. It wouldn't be at the end you go, and now these
No,
ones
but-
are worth...
Yeah, I get what you mean. But then, I don't know. The long story short, the fobbing off of the Central Coast has always confused me, and it's not just biased because I'm from there. It's like an extended area of Sydney, really, and just as legitimately deserves a team as any other part of this Greater Sydney area, I would think.
Yeah, who's the hardest done by in the New South Wales rugby league community? It's probably the Central Coast, right? But I mean, maybe North Sydney, because they had a team and it was taken away.
Yeah. I think it's bizarre that Brisbane's been a one-team town for 30 years. That's also kind of weird. And I'm sure they've done everything they can back alley-wise to make sure they are, because that's very lucrative for them. But in terms of the game itself and the competition itself, I think it's really bizarre that there hasn't been a second Brisbane team in all this time.
Yeah, that is a good point. I hadn't thought about that. What about teams like Newtown? Should they ever be allowed back in the NRL?
Yeah, so that's going to your regular promotion relegation thing again. Look, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how sustainable that is, and not just from players and talent, but just number of fans. Like, have we actually got a profitable amount of fans to spread across this number of teams?
No, probably not is the answer.
Yeah.
But you know who does? Central Coast. You could, if you had a good team, you definitely could fill that Blue Tongue Stadium. Is it still called that?
It is. And even geographically, it just feels weird that Manly are the only team on the north side of Sydney for the whole.
So yeah, Manly really is.
Harbour up.
Yeah, Manly have everything from Harbour to Burleigh Heads.
Newcastle. Don't forget Newcastle.
Oh yeah, Newcastle. I did forget Newcastle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
But that's
What? Well, why can't Central Coast just get behind Newcastle?
Well, because Central Coast want a Central Coast team. They deserve it. But don't you think it's weird that Sydney has 9 teams, 8 of those are on the south side of the harbour, 1's on the north side of the harbour?
Yeah, that is weird. I hadn't thought about that till right now.
Yeah.
Parramatta's on the river.
It is?
You could kind of... I mean, is there...
Okay, call it half then.
Yeah. Penrith?
We're not just going to name clubs and think about where they are. Any other sports stuff we can talk about as we're getting closer to your home? Any other Jackie Chan facts you might have?
The NFL draft was on this week. From what I saw of it, it went,
Sorry, before you go into NRL draft, can I mention something NRL again before we leave it?
Of course, because
we started with NRL, then talked about Super League, then went back to NRL. Now we're going to talk about NFL and then go back to NRL. So maybe I'll talk about it now. I've said NRL a lot.
What?
Did you see this week the wife of the Canberra player Tarpany came out and bagged Ricky Stewart
No.
on social media?
No, what'd she say about Stick?
She said you got an international there, i.e. her husband,
Yeah.
and he only gets X amount of minutes. Your
On what forum did she say this?
Instagram.
Okay.
I mean, your interchanges are killing us, is what she said.
Whew.
Now, Ricky Stewart has a kind of Madge-style approach to coaching at times.
Oh, no doubt.
So, what do you think's going to play out there? What do you think's appropriate for Ricky Stewart if the wife of one of your players bags you extremely publicly, like saying that like his approach to coaching is incorrect and her husband should be getting more minutes? Like,
All right, you want my funny answer or my real answer?
Give us both.
Okay, real answer. I reckon what you have to do as a coach, you go to him. Who's it? Rapinoe? Who did you say it was?
Tarpany.
So you go to Tarpany and you say, "Do you agree with your wife?"
Oh yeah.
And then
put him in a sticky situation.
Yeah, and then if he says
in an interesting situation,
you say, "Do you agree with your wife?" And if he says no, he says, "Then don't worry at all. She's a member of the public. She can say what she wants. Stay out of this. Doesn't matter." But if he tries to back it up, then say, "Well, why didn't you come and talk to me about it?"
Now, isn't that interesting? How,
Yeah. Or funny answer, you kill him in front of the other players.
And then you go to the NRL. Do we get dispensation for this?
Yeah.
And no, he wasn't on your.
But I have supporting documents.
He wasn't on your sacrifice contract list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
another
is
thing.
interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Go to him. You reckon that?
I think you have to.
Watch him squirm.
Yeah.
Unless he wants out of Canberra and he told his wife just...
Or unless he hates her and he's like, "Please, Ricky, help me. I don't know what to do. She's crazy."
I wanted to play less minutes. I'm tired.
Yeah. She took it all wrong, Ricky.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. But to be honest, when I read that, I kind of wondered why you haven't heard about this kind of thing much before, because social media is social media. People sometimes say things they're not supposed to. People get drunk and get on there.
This happened, it takes us back in the NFL, I think, a few times with wags, wives and girlfriends, getting on social media going off about you need to do this more, use this more.
Yeah.
I don't remember how it was dealt with, but I hope there was a sacrificing. It'd be hard to deal with a 58-man roster, wouldn't it? Like the NFL.
Yeah.
Imagine you had 58 NRL players. That'd be tough.
And the wags. Yeah. So, sorry, you brought it back to NFL.
No, that's what I was just thinking. I like what you've said. My NRL, I had nothing. The draft was on. Aaron Rodgers is angry at the Packers and has said, "I'm not going to come back. I'm just going to continue hosting."
The Packer family.
No, the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, right.
But he said, I'm not going to play anymore unless you fire the general manager. I'm going to continue hosting Jeopardy.
Okay, did he say that on Instagram?
Yeah, and in an interview. But yeah, he's literally hosting Jeopardy at the moment instead of playing football.
Okay. I don't understand why you like Jeopardy so much. You were watching
I
Jeopardy
love it. I watched
earlier.
10 episodes last night.
Why, though?
It's great. It's good for your brain.
Okay.
Oh.
Anything else to say before we drop a pin in this? Oh, thank you, Nathan, by the way, for...
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for writing in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Please.
Second person ever to write in, and both of them have been Rabs-related material.
Please, if you have anything, write in. We're absolutely up for interacting with fans.
Yeah.
Fans.
People who happen to listen and can be bothered writing something.
Is it possible that someone accidentally listened to this?
Oh, absolutely it is.
Good.
What? I think someone might have been looking for a podcast called What's That Goat?
Oh, yeah, that's a big podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should think about, maybe a name change to get it closer to a podcast that people would really like.
Tricking people.
Like instead of cereal, we'll call it Perial or something like that.
Perial?
What's close to an S on a keyboard? Like, so you accidentally typed it in, you think you're listening to Serial.
Ariel.
After, like, 2 episodes, you're like, they're never going to find if Adnan killed her or not. Like, yeah.
When you were listening to Serial,
Yeah.
did you... Like, I kept hearing Adnan as Adman. So I mean, imagine...
That's the Adman.
Some sort of, marketing executive in a suit.
Adman Vuk.
Trying to think about how to sell cereal.
That guy's hairline. That was quite
Cereal?
Yeah, cereal. Adman Vuk selling the cereal.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it as Adman. I heard Adnan, so it worked for me.
Right.
But there was a lady with a weird name in it.
Good observation.
I don't remember. No, other sports stuff? No, I got not much, man.
All right. Well, that would probably be the end of the podcast then.
Right in, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Hello, my name is Piers Grove, and I'm a founder, publisher, and managing director. In March 2022, I'd just been named managing director of Australian Geographic and set up Scout Publishing. Then everything changed. 404 Brain Not Found, the podcast for stroke survivors and their friends and colleagues. We explore the absurd experience and frustrating journey of stroke recovery. 404 Brain Not Found, a general experiments podcast on all podcast streamers.
My name's Stu,
I'm Rachel.
and we are fans
Obsessives might be the word.
of the 90s. The 90s. The 90s. The 90s. You can follow the podcast on your favourite podcast app. Rachel, what's the name of the show?
Swinging on the flippity flop.
Why the 90s?
We lived it.
We lived it, we were it.
Was it the best decade ever or the lamest? Let's find out.
Flippity flop.